Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. I've got this set of Williams Baltimore and Ohio E7s. They're conventional engines that Nick had previously installed an ERR cruise commander in it. In order to fully understand how this stuff works, I've decided to strip them down and rebuild them. Okay, so yeah, my workbench is an absolute disaster. I'm deep into a project here and I'm not sure what I'm doing. I got these Williams E7s from Nick. He had previously done an ERR Cruise Commander upgrade. He was no longer running the engines, he was having issues with them. I said, you know what, let me give it a shot. If you had seen his video on these, he had permanently wired them together, tether between the two. That's a little difficult considering how long these engines are. It makes them a little difficult to move around. Before I got them from him, he cut the tether so that the two could be separated. I got them home, I opened up the powered unit, I inspected to make sure no wires were going to short anything out, and then I test ran it, and it actually ran really well. The sound was not working. I wasn't sure if it was the little amp on board or the speaker, so I played around with it all for a while, and I tried to figure out what I was looking at as far as the ERR Cruise Commander. I got myself to a point where I felt like I had a decent understanding, but I really wanted to get a better understanding of the whole process, so I completely disassembled the engines, took the boards out and everything. The bases were a little scratched up, had a bunch of residue from glue and double-sided tape, so I sanded them down and repainted them. Of course, leaving these contact points here bare metal so that we could have a decent ground. I did not do a great job painting them, but they look better than they did. So now that I have the frames painted, I'm going to start putting at least the powered unit back together. Some of the wires that need to go from unit to unit would include these for the coupler so that I can remotely open the coupler. And if I want to put a speaker in each unit, I would need wires for that. In addition to those two things, if I want the headlights to be directional on the non-powered unit, I need wires for that. There's probably going to be quite a few wires, which is why initially Nick had done it without a connector in the middle, because, you know, who wants a big connector with multicolored wires in between their engine? You know, I'm going to do my best to do it with connectors of some sort so that I can take them apart, because two E7s becomes tough trying to figure out where to put them. I have to get the fuel tank back on the base. The screws are in different spots, so it only goes one direction. Helps if you line up the holes first. I used a Krylon flat black paint and primer. I feel like it's not going to last very well. It doesn't seem very tough. All right, so we have a few things here. The multiple parts of the Cruise Commander, and then we have the sound card. So these need to be mounted in the engine in such a way that it's not going to get in anything's way, and that will hopefully enable me to properly wire this thing. I wonder if I could mount it standing up with one of those screws. The board can snap in there. Whether or not it's a good idea is another issue. I guess this would be a good time to point out that when you place these things, you should probably check the fit with the shell before you go any further. And it does end up right about here, but you really can't tell what it is because it's just black. I think I'm okay with that there. What I don't want to see is a bunch of wires, especially if the wires are brightly colored. Okay, there's already a hole in the frame here. I'd mounted the ERR Commander, and I think I'll probably put it right back in the same spot. What still needs to be done is I'd like to mount the switch for the program run. So I should probably find a decent spot for that before I go further. So where am I going to put the switch? What I don't want is for the switch to get in the way of the truck's proper functioning. It's almost like I could put the switch right where that Williams logo is. So if the board mounts here, I could really put the switch right there. I was reading that usually the run position of the switch is forward. I probably don't want to put it in sideways, even if it might fit better. I don't really want to be able to see it, but it looks like we have some extra apron on the side. So if I put it like over here, you're really not going to see it. This is the front, so it should be mounted. Yeah, I don't remember which one's which. Oh, I have to read. There was something in the ERR directions about which position it should be in. The switch is in the run position when it is open with the slide lever over the unused terminals. So that means that's in run. And usual convention has the run position forward to the front of the engine. I'm going to mount this right about there. What I'll do is get a drill bit big enough to fit the switch through, drill that hole, place it down, and then mark the holes for mounting, and then elongate the hole that I drilled originally to allow the switch to move. So I'm just going to check clearance underneath, but I'm going to say right there. Well, this project's going a lot slower than I thought it would, but that's not really unexpected when you're doing stuff you haven't done before. So I drilled a hole about the size of the switch toggle through the base, and then elongated it with a square file until it was wide enough to allow the switch to go back and forth. Drilled one hole, made sure the switch fit with the hole and the slider hole, and then drilled the last hole. And as you might be able to see, they're not exactly lined up, but it doesn't need to be perfect. This might be an unnecessary step, but I'm going to take some electrical tape, just cover the spot with it, and I'll cut off the excess. This worked better before when I tried it. Now I need to find the switch. It's here somewhere. Never work on a dirty workbench. Oh, found it. Okay, so the open is run, so we'll put it facing the front. Line up the forward hole. I have a self-tapping screw that I put through the base and the switch, so hopefully it will hold. Well, it's not perfect, I won't lie. The hole that's further back is a little off center, so it was pulling the switch to the side and wouldn't allow it to switch all the way. Considering it's a switch I will probably never need to use, I think I'm just going to leave it like that. It is secure. One other thing I'll do is just put a little black hot glue around it, kind of assist in keeping it in place and cover up any gaps so that no light from inside comes through. Not that I think any light will, because it's not like it's a passenger car that I'm illuminating, but figure why not. I guess also I should have done this work before I painted it, because now I've scratched it up. But again, we're not going to see it, so I'm not going to let it slow me down. I mean, I'm already slow enough. I've been out here for like an hour just to get the switch in place, so I say it's good. Open towards the front, should be in run, we should be good. I really should pick up some double-sided foam tape. I kind of want to put something under here just in case, you know, it loosens up and touches, it doesn't short out. That'd be a real bummer. It's a technical term, bummer. So if this goes in there, screws down, it should be okay. That is where it was, wasn't it? You know, I don't remember. Maybe it was back here. You know, that might be the case. The question then becomes, where do I want to put it? Well, I'm thinking right where I was thinking of putting it. It's in the middle, towards the front. I have plenty of room for other stuff. Let's go with that. Okay, so now we've got the cruise commander with the other board on top, which I can't remember what board that is. I have the sound board. Okay, making progress. Now obviously there are some steps that are missed because we're not fully converting this. It's already been done. We're just kind of redoing it. At some point in the future, I'll have to do a full swap from conventional to an ERR or something else like that. Okay, so now we have a couple of the components in place. Luckily, the directions have these nice breakouts of what goes to what. And before I took anything apart, I made sure to make a note of what everything was connected to. I should be able to get at least that far. The trucks still need to be really cleaned up. They're a little dirty and dusty, and I think there's some cat hair in there. Now I'm just thinking, what else needs to be done before putting the trucks on? What other components is this going to need? If I'm reading the directions correctly, it's 16 volts for the lights, which is too much for LEDs. So I will need to convert that 16 volts AC to a low voltage DC so that I can use that to power LEDs. And if I hook it up correctly to this, it should be directional because there's a spot for forward and a spot for reverse. I'll be interested to see if that works. The soundboard plugs on this side of the cruise commander. Snap that in. And then later I'll figure out how I want to secure the wires so they're not in my way. These are very long, and since I have this mounted so close, I'll probably just cut the wires and then reconnect them. Actually, there's no probably about it. That is what I'm going to do. Looking at the board, we have program run positive and the program run common. Shouldn't matter which one goes where. So I'm going to put one into the program run spot and then the common spot. Okay, those are secure. I've secured the cruise commander, the sound card, and the switch. And that has taken way too long considering I'm just redoing it, not doing it new. Oh well. Hey, it's part of the learning process. I think next I need to clean up the trucks so that I can get them connected and run the power wires. Hopefully that doesn't take as long as this took. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.